Hey guys, it's Wayne Johnson with Wednesdays with Wayne. Got a little special guest here in the studio today. We could call her my better half, you could say. Sarah's in the studio with us. She's going to add a little bit today. We don't really have a lot of race car stuff going on. We've had we got a month off here before the next outlaw race or whatever. We're doing a little test session here in a couple of weeks, doing a little testing, doing a little detuning for motors and this, that, and the other. And we've been working in the shop just kind of preparing for the California swing, building headers and that kind of thing. Because, out there you got to run those goofy mufflers out there or whatever. But, no, not a lot going on as far as racing. This is Monday. I guess the 500 is going to go off tonight or today because they got rained out yesterday. So we're recording this on Monday. And like I say, we just, the racing part, we just don't have a whole lot going on right now. A little downtime. Probably good to have a little downtime because we're getting ready to get super, super busy. But like I say, got Sara in here today. She's going to talk to me a little bit about, or you guys, about this podcast because this actually was her idea. So she didn't really want to be on, but I told her she had to since this was her idea in the first place. But like I say, we got some new stuff going on with this. We're actually going to hear in a couple of weeks. We're going to do maybe start doing this with a little bit of video involved. And now she's got a voicemail set up somehow. I don't know how all this works, so she'll have to explain that to us here in a little bit. But like I say, I guess about the biggest, most exciting news, I guess we could say, is the 2C Racing has hired a full-time mechanic, John Ivy. We call him John Boy. Like you guys heard last week on the podcast or the week before. I'm not really remembering when he was on, but I finally convinced him after Volusia to come full-time. So he's put his 2 weeks notice in at his real job, and he's coming to work for us full-time this year. And John, he's been out of the racing loop for about 7 or 8, 10 years, something like that. But I first met John when I drove the Comp USA car out of Dallas. There, he was the crew chief on that. So it won't take him long to get back in the groove of knowing what's going on with these race cars, and stuff hasn't changed that much. So looking forward to having him around. Get along with John really well, and he's going to be a very good asset to this team, I believe. He's very intelligent, very knowledgeable about race cars. Just like I said, just been out of it a little bit, and I kind of convinced him that it's kind of like they did me. If you don't do this now, you're never going to get another chance, so you might as well do it. But so that's exciting news. I'm really excited about that. To have somebody that I've worked with before, and I'm just excited. I think that's been my word here in the last month or two is excited. Just excited to get going. But anyway, like I said, I got Sara here in the studio. She's a big part of this. She has to put up with a lot. We go weeks without seeing each other at times, and heck, I should say months sometimes. But she's supportive, very supportive of me, and actually probably pushes me more than anybody ever has. She's really pushed me in the gym to be better because she's in there every day and that kind of thing. So just excited to get this going. I wish we were racing. Man, I don't know. We go racing and we come home and we're sitting here and nothing to do as far as, I shouldn't say nothing to do because we're still busting our butt daily, but just, I don't know, you get all antsy and you go race in Florida for a week and then you come back and it's like silence. It's weird. I'm not ready for that. I'm ready. Once we got going, I was ready to go. So, honey, what do you got to add? You got anything to add today? What you got to say?
I don't know.
Oh my God, she might be worse than Slippy as far as my guess.
Slippy.
Well, tell us about the voicemail hotline. How's that's going to work and what they can do and.
Okay, so we've been posting online asking for questions, and so that's been part of the process. We've received a ton of questions, and it's fun to see what people want to hear from him. Questions you have about anything, I mean, it's open, whatever you want to talk about. And I think part of this podcast, or from my perspective, is getting the fans and getting you all involved, because it doesn't exist without the support from you all. And so I thought, okay, let's set up a voicemail line where you can call and it'll be open all the time. You can ask questions, leave comments, etc. And it we'll record them, and then we will be able to post them on the podcast, and Wayne can speak to the questions, or we can just play snippets of whatever you want to say. I'm pretty interested to see what comes out of that based upon the amount of questions and messages we receive on a daily basis. Sometimes it's pretty funny. I don't know who most of these people are. I don't know what has happened in his lifetime, but the stories that come out of it are great. So let's get this going, because I think that will provide some good content in regards to, stories, questions, whatever you want to ask. It'll be a good forum, and then you get to be part of it. I don't foresee the podcast being just Wayne and Slippy talking all the time. We're going to work on getting guests.
Well, we already have a guest here coming up in a couple of weeks.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, I think he's maybe maybe the first guest. Unless we get somebody next week or whatever. We're working on all this. This is all new.
It's a work in progress, because I operate from the thought process of, if you want to try something, just the best way to do it is just try it, learn, fail, figure it out. And that has been 100% what this podcast adventure has been so far. And Wayne's a good sport, because he just gives me a crazy idea. And at first I always go, okay, you're nuts. And then I'm like, okay, let's figure it out. So that's what we're doing now, is figuring it out and making it happen. And it's been a fun process. He's pretty good at keeping this together. So,
well, don't let her fool you guys. This was her idea. She, I don't know the first damn thing about a podcast. I'd listened to Open Red quite a bit, but other than that, I didn't really know what a podcast was. I didn't know you could have voice or video, or I didn't know anything about it. So she's kind of got me up to speed on this deal, and it's fun. I'm not going to lie. I've had a lot of fun with it so far. And like she said, the interaction from the fans and the sponsors and everything that goes with it, it's been kind of comedy a little bit. Some of the questions and, that kind of thing. But we are discussing, like I say, this is a work in progress, but we are discussing that maybe about one time a month, we're gonna choose a fan that we're actually gonna bring on and let them have a 10-minute spot here to just basically bullshit. I mean, that's basically what we're gonna do. Just, if you got something to say or want to talk about, or we'll talk about it. It doesn't make any difference. We're just gonna make this fun, and and we're gonna enjoy it. If you can't enjoy this, right? Why would we do it? But like I say, she's the one who put all this together, and I cut her off there on her voicemail hotline or whatever. So I think she's got a phone number she could give you guys and all that. But I'm gonna give it back to her, because like I say, I just cut her off there, because sometimes I just ramble.
That's okay. We'll post it online as well, and I'm sure you'll get to know it, because we're going to say it all the time. But the voicemail line is 405-362-0620. You can call that number. You'll get a voicemail from Wayne, and then when it's time to leave a voicemail, go for it. And then just know that we're recording it, and we will play it back. So,
well, I don't know.
Depending on what it is. If it's, I don't know.
I know some people.
Not inappropriate.
I got some pretty
interesting friends
that think they're comedians too, So
yeah.
we might not get to play with some of those. But.
So at the very least, entertain me, because when he's gone and there's, lots going on, I get to cull through all this fun stuff that comes through. And
this is going to be scary.
It's always fun when I get to come to him and be like, so who is this and what does this mean? He's like, oh no. And he has some story.
So well, she never knew the story about the water truck, so that was kind of cool.
Yeah. And I know there's a lot of stuff out there, just people that you've dealt with and things that you've done. And I just think it's fun to hear what you have to say. Someone that I want to have on in the future is Jack Hockett, because you guys have the best stories when you're together, and they're probably not even appropriate, right? Like,
oh no, they're all appropriate.
No, we can make them appropriate.
This is the internet. Everything's fair game, right?
I know, but we don't want to hurt our young fans. They have to be able to listen.
Oh,
in case you're like me and you listen in the car with kiddos, so you have to have it mildly appropriate.
Jack, that's a good one. We need to.
No, he's the best.
You need to write that down.
Yeah, no,
maybe
I'll call him.
Maybe get Grandpa Jack on next week, because
100%.
You never told me that, but that's pretty awesome. Yeah.
Oh, I've got a whole list of people in my mind.
Jack, God. Well, I bumped into Jack in Florida. You know, he's down there. Mm-hmm. Him and Grammy are down there just vacationing, because they're both retired now, and you know, they're like family to me. Have been for years, but. Jack went fishing. I'll tell a really fast story here. Went fishing over the weekend, and or last weekend or whatever, and caught a big bass. And he showed me a picture of it and said, "That was 10 pounds, Johnson. It's 10 pounds." And I was like, "Man, that don't look like 10 pounds to me. Did you weigh it?" Nope. I said, "Well, then how did you know it was 10 pounds?" I said, "It looks like one of those fishing stories to me." So we gave him crap the whole weekend there at Volusia about his fish. That it looked like it might have been a 4-pounder, but in his mind it was a 9 or 10-pounder. But we'll let him tell his story. You know how them fishing stories are, especially with them old fishermen, because I think that's about all he does anymore. But no joke, I've seen some really big crappie that he's caught, and pretty amazing. But that's all him and Grammy do anymore is vacation in Florida, go fishing, and I think they go up into Minnesota and do some stuff or whatever. They've been to Colorado. It's pretty cool. He's getting to do a lot of stuff with her, because she, you know, her health wasn't very good for a while, and she's doing great now, and that's awesome. I'm glad they're getting to spend a lot of time together, because you know they lost their boy really young, and I know they both still hurt every day. Heck, I do. I think about him constantly, but pretty cool that they get to go do that. But hey, that's definitely we're gonna have Jack.
I've got all kinds of ideas.
See, we're winging this. She doesn't tell me anything till last minute, but no, this is pretty cool having her on. She's she's a big part. She does all this T-shirt stuff, and you know, so if you order a T-shirt online, she ships it to you and does all of that. So, and works a full-time job. So she's got a lot on her plate too, especially putting up with me.
Whatever.
And the dog. She's got to put up with her dog.
My baby.
But no, like I say, we're this is a learning process. We're just definitely, you know, like I say, we're still doing those questions of the week right now that you guys have all sent online.
I'm going to read you the question of the week
through Facebook and all the social channels or whatever. But pretty soon, like I say, you'll be able to do that in a voicemail, or you can still send them online. We'll still use them. And if we do use your question, you know, she's going to send you something in the mail. And the dog's going crazy in the background.
Because you can talk to him.
If you can hear him, he's whining. But
okay, I'm gonna ask you the question of the week. This week, the question comes from Stephen Bolin, and he says, "With racing season so long, how do you keep focused and driven in the season when it's going good, and then when it's not going as well?"
Well, it's a good question, Stephen. You know, this is going to be a very big task with the Outlaws and being gone a lot more than I've ever been. A lot more races. The races we're going to run, our race season with ASCS was a little, I mean, it's still long, but just a lot more downtime, a lot more coming homes, that kind of thing. But that's the thing that I'm really concentrating on is trying to get away, disconnect myself from the race car and getting home and trying to be normal as possible, getting to cut my own grass when I can and that kind of thing, because that's the stuff that gets my mind fixed, especially when I get down and that kind of thing, is to get home and just try to be as normal as possible. But, it's really hard to say because I don't know what this task at hand, but just a really, really good work ethic, I think, keeps your brain right, getting up, going to the gym, and going to try to do as much of that as I can. I know this is going to be, I mean, hell, we already went to Florida and got the shit kicked out of us pretty regularly. So I see that we're gonna do better. You know, I mean, I feel it. I can tell the car the car wasn't very good, and we're not that far off. I didn't feel like so. But I think easiest way to answer that question is just staying focused with the task at hand and try on the days that we're not at the track to be normal and do normal stuff, like going to the gym when I can't make it home. Those weeks, go to the gym every day. I wake up and go to the gym. It makes my day a lot clearer, I should say. But just staying focused, I think, is going to be the key to that. And Sarah's going to get to come to a lot of races. She's flying out to a lot, and so that'll keep my normalcy a little bit, because when we spend a lot of time together in the off season, then it's pretty tough at first when we go, like going to Florida that first week. She wanted to be there, she couldn't. She had stuff going on here, but you guys will see her out on the road a lot. And guess what? Might be sometimes that I'm so busy I won't be able to do a podcast. Maybe we'll just have to let her fill everybody in what's going on. You think you can do that, honey?
I don't think so. Yeah.
Well, you can't?
I'll figure it out. Don't worry.
We'll
do something.
You could have Grandpa hock it on.
We've got this. Don't worry.
Well, I don't know if that was a very good answer to your question, but that's really the only thing that I think is just try to keep as much of a normal life outside of racing to be focused and be. I'm going to say that's going to be the key for me, and like going to the gym and getting to come home, getting to see my kids, and you guys come to the races when you can, but my goal is to come home as much as possible to disconnect from the boys, because I'm sure after about 3 or 4 months I want to kill them all, and I'm sure they'll want to kill me too. But
I don't even know if it takes that long.
Okay, 3 or 4 days.
Small living quarters, yeah.
But no, that's kind of the answer to the question there, Stephen, and I'm sure she'll get with you and get an address, and she'll get you something in the mail for the question. But guys, really keep those questions coming, because some of them are pretty hilarious. But it's part of it. Like I say, it's fun. I'm enjoying this. As far as the questions are really some of the coolest part of this deal. And like I say, not a lot of racing to talk about right now, because there's nothing going on other than, we're working on the shop, we're building spares and, decaling wings and building wings and on the phone with engine builders and that kind of thing. We're staying pretty busy doing that, waiting on our new Kistler engine to come. I'm excited about that. Charlie Fisher's done all my engines since 1999, and he's just a small shop and is not going to be able to keep up with the amount of rebuilds and that kind of thing that we're going to have. So we've contacted Paul Kistler and got a motor coming from him, and I'm kind of anxious to see the difference in what those guys do and what Charlie does. Our motors run really, really well, and I'm sure the Kistlers are too. But just getting something new is kind of exciting for me there, as far as on the race side of it. But really, that's really all that's going on with the racing thing, for sure.
Yeah.
But like I say, that voicemail, I mean, you guys use that thing up, because that's going to be the fun part. What was that number again, honey?
It's 405-362-0620. You can call that anytime and leave us a voicemail. Thoughts, questions, whatever. Entertain us. I'm interested to hear what you come up with.
That's scary.
Oh, no, it'll be good.
That's scary.
It'll be good.
There's a bunch of crazy people out there.
Strange people. We've got to block quite a few on a weekly basis on the social media channels, just from some weird stuff. But it's entertaining, to say the least.
You know what? I forgot one part. My youngest daughter, Paige, has been where she's actually getting her friends listening, and she's 12, almost 13 years old now, and she's getting all her friends to listen to her dad's podcast, and so I try to keep it as clean as possible for them. But she's been on me for the last 2 weeks, because she wants to be on here, for one, and for two, I'm supposed to tell everybody that she's my boss. I don't know where that comes.
Right.
I don't know where that comes from, but I guess Paige is my boss.
Paige is the boss. That's right.
But she'll enjoy getting to hear that on this, because she's, how kids are crazy anyway. But like I say, that's really all we got going on today. hope you guys will tune in next week because this has really been fun and it's only going to get better. This has kind of been the silliest podcast so far, I think, as far as not really
Topic-wise.
Yeah, no topic
That's
could
okay.
be. Yeah, I guess the topic is getting this voicemail set up and all that, and having you. I'm glad to have you on because I know I had to twist her arm pretty bad to get her on here.
I'm a behind-the-scenes person.
So
I'd prefer
But
that.
we are going to do some video. There's been some people that have said that they would rather watch and listen as to just listen. So we're going to mix it up. We're going to do some video, some audio.
Earlier this week, the previous week, I got us set up on YouTube. So if you'd prefer to just go to YouTube and listen, you can do that as well. It's not video per se, as in like a live feed, but it's, pictures behind with him talking. So we're just trying to find different channels, figure out what works the best, trying to talk him into some Facebook Live and Instagram Live kind of stuff. It's all to come, getting him up on this social media and podcasting and, in the 2020s here,
well, guys,
figuring it out. That's part of it. So
I'm so ignorant to the internet stuff that at Volusia, Natalie Sather is doing all the PR for 2C Racing, and we're just bullcrapping there in the trailer, and she's like, "Do you even know what www means?" And I was like, "No, I just know it goes on the address before you plug it into the internet."
Wednesdays with Wayne, that's what it means.
She said, "What's it, World Wide Web?" Right?
How do you not know that?
Well, because I don't know that.
I'm telling you guys, we're making progress, but it's slow progress over here.
Listen, I know how to use a cell phone. That's about it.
Do you want me to read your promo stuff this week?
You want to do that? Yeah, go for it.
Let's see if I can do better than you. Okay, before we go, we just want to remind everyone that you can find us on all social media channels. Just search Wayne Johnson Racing. We try to stay connected as much as possible throughout the week there. You can see and purchase new merchandise as it becomes available. If you've been enjoying these podcasts so far, it would mean a lot to us if you'll take a moment to rate, review, subscribe so that we can keep this thing going. And I'm going to add here, subscribe so you do not miss a podcast episode. It'll come straight to your feed. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, just message us and I'll help you get that figured out because that's really helpful.
Well, if they're listening, surely they would already know.
Well, they could be listening off of a link off of Facebook.
Okay. Well,
there's many ways to get to us, but I can set you up with some podcast links, and then I can tell you other podcasts to go listen to, because that's what I do all the time.
Only if you want to know about murder.
And I can help you figure out.
So if I come up missing or dead somewhere, you guys look at her first, because she's like the professional murder mystery listener. Figuring out. She keeps adding money to my life insurance or something. I don't know what's going on.
Lies.
Well, guys, thanks for listening in. Like I say, I've always wanted to try to keep this as short as possible and try to stay within the 25 minutes. And like I say, keep those questions coming. Sorry, there's not a lot of racing stuff going on to talk about right now, other than the 500s today.
You said that earlier.
Yeah, I know, but. Who's your pick? Who you want to win?
I mean, I don't really watch NASCAR, but Christopher Bell's racing, right?
Yes.
Okay, I pick him always.
Well, I would, I want Christopher to win. I don't think that he's going to get it done in his first outing at the 500, but
that's okay.
He would be my sentimental pick for sure.
Okay, who you picking?
Good Oklahoma kid here that grew up racing at I-44 Speedway, which is just right down the road. My dad was actually part of building that racetrack on day one. Actually, it was my dad's ideal to build that racetrack, but I gotta go with my guy.
Who?
I don't even know if I should say this because everybody hates him.
Rowdy?
But yeah.
Okay. I'll go with him too. I kind of like that people don't like him.
I like Kyle Busch because guess what? Kyle Busch is a racer.
He has that I don't care what you think attitude.
Yeah,
which,
that's a good idea. I like that. I just want him to. He does well.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's my pick, Kyle Busch.
Oh, there's Paige.
My sentimental pick is definitely Christopher. So, all right, guys. Well, until next week, we will probably see you somewhere at a racetrack or online or something. But keep up with us, and we'll see you.